Hey guys, welcome to another episode of Thinking Like a Bank, where we show you how to think like a bank using the same strategies and principles that banks use to help you find more financial freedom in your life. I'm your host, Sarah Ibrahim. I have with us today a very special guest. His name is Chris Salerno. He attended Wharton Business School and Winthrop University. Chris successfully transacted more than $40 million in real estate volume and helped lead the number one real estate team in the Carolinas to produce more than $140 million in annual sales prior to creating QC Capital. Named to Charlotte's 30 under 30, Elite 50 entrepreneurs, 30 under 30 entrepreneurs, and nominated for Forbes 30 under 30, 2018 and 2020. Chris has quickly gained recognition for his hard work and dedication. He manages QC Capital LLC, a national multifamily investment company, acquiring complexes of 100 units or greater in the major Southeast markets. QC Capital LLC focuses on markets that demonstrate consistent rent growth, population growth, and job growth. Chris, welcome to the show.
Yeah, thanks so much for having me. Very excited to be here.
Yeah, thanks for joining us. Before we jump into real estate and stuff, tell us about your background and how you got into real estate.
Yeah, my father was actually in real estate, so that kind of opened my eyes to it. But I wanted a career that the income followed my work ethic, because I knew I would outwork in my competition. My employees call me Elon Musk because I work, and they don't understand how I do it. And I run like a machine. So I wanted a income that followed it. So that's why I got into residential real estate brokerage.
Mm-hmm.
I no longer broke real estate, no longer have my licensing. But very quickly, I gained some success in the industry. I grew a company. I then merged that with the number one company. And like you said, I was able to make them around 47% profitable in about a year and a half of their growth. And we ended up being, it was number 4th in the world with Keller Williams by unit count at one time. And I left it because I felt like I hit a ceiling and I really wanted to build the wealth. And wanted to build that financial freedom, which that's what I saw in apartment investing. And that's why I created QC Capital. I also see that in the infinite banking industry as well, where you can build that financial freedom. And I created QC Capital to help individuals invest into large multifamily assets. They partner alongside of us and invest directly into the deal. And we operate the deal from start to finish. They receive monthly checks and monthly distributions and also monthly updates. And it's been great. We've been very excited for the growth that we've had with QC and our partners alongside of us. So that's how I got into the industry and got into creating QC Capital.
Yeah, definitely. Thanks for sharing that. And I agree. I think that when you are, brokering real estate, there's nothing wrong with that. But there are like ceilings. You still have to go out to the properties. You still have to drive there. You can only handle so many clients and so many things. But whereas where you get into what you're doing right now with like raising capital, buying more units, it opens up the opportunities for you and for your investors, right?
Yeah, very much so. Very much so. It helps tremendously. It also helps our partners, diversify their portfolio, and the trust that they have in us to operate these assets and locate them and ensure that they are great quality assets. Helps tremendously.
Yeah, absolutely. So who are your investors? Like what kind of investors are they, and how do you meet them, and how do you guys connect together?
Yeah, so our partners, when I say partners, I mean investors. I say partners because we both invest into the deal and they invest alongside of us. They don't invest into QC unless we have a fund, which we'll be rolling out. They are high net worth individuals, accredited investors only. And we've been able to partner and find that type of partnership throughout the relationships that I've built, not only with them, but with their sphere of influences that they have in their life, and by word of mouth referrals. So that's how we've gained the partners that we have today with the acquisitions that we have.
Okay, that makes sense. I like how you say partner instead of just investor. It's there's more to it, right? They're investing alongside the deals you're doing. Where are the deals mostly located?
Deals are mostly located in the Carolinas, Atlanta, and Florida markets. Right now, we have a presence in the Carolinas pretty significantly, and we're growing a presence in the Atlanta and Florida markets as well.
Nice. Okay. And how do you find the deals?
Yeah, so this business, like most businesses, and as people grow their own companies, relationships key, and they go a long way. So we build very strong relationships with the brokers here in the Carolinas, and that's how we're able to find deals and also source deals, is through our very strong relationships that we have with the brokers.
Okay, that's cool. That makes sense. Yeah, definitely. It's all about relationships, you know. Now, can you give us an example? Like, for example, you came across a property, you had X amount of dollars and raised capital, and then you also leverage like bank financing. Does that happen? Like, we're using both, like, from the partners and from bank financing.
Very much so. Yeah, it's tremendously. I mean, this business is all about leverage, and life is about leverage, in my opinion.
Mhm.
So we leverage the bank financing to ensure that we get the proper debt that we need for that particular deal. So we know what our return looks like, calculate our return. So it's very important to get the proper debt, especially in this very attractive market with low interest rates.
Mhm.
It helps tremendously.
Yeah, absolutely. And since you mentioned leverage, you know, that's a key word in business and in real estate. You know, one of the things with infinite banking, like I talked about on your show, it's leverage. It's having the opportunity to leverage your life insurance policy to do whatever you want to do with it. Do you mind sharing like your experience with infinite banking and how you're using it?
Yeah, I love infinite banking. I think it's a great concept. It's a concept that is overlooked. Not that many people know of it, and I think more people should be aware of it. Obviously, I think Uncle Sam doesn't want to make them aware of it, but it's definitely something that you should look into, where you can have your money make money for you. At a really good return, and if you need any capital, you're able to take a loan against that capital, and still have your money make money while it's in there,
Mhm.
which I think is a wonderful concept. And the best concept of it all is that, if anything were to happen, say you get hit by a car, or you hit someone by a car,
Mhm.
or someone just doesn't like you these days and they want to sue you. That's America. It's protected very strongly. And I like that aspect of it. And so, yeah, I definitely highly recommend it.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. That's one of my favorite things about it too, is the asset protection behind it. Like in a lot of states, the cash value of it, you know, is protected from creditors and judgments and things like that. And you never know what could happen. Like it's not just about you doing bad things to people. Just, you know, like you said, somebody doesn't like you,
Anything.
anything. They find out you have a lot of money and they want to just come after you. So like, yeah, infinite banking, I think is awesome for that. And especially when you're using it for real estate deals. And, you know, even if you had to qualify for a loan and the bank's like, where did you get this money from? Like, you know, I got it from my life insurance policy. And they actually like
Yep.
to see that too, because banks use life insurance. So they understand it. They get it. They get how it works. Now, obviously real estate, you know, multifamily syndication, it's a tough business. There's a lot of challenges. Do you mind sharing with us like what are the challenges you've had and what you did to overcome it?
Yeah, I think the challenges is right when you start out growing, and I think growing the business and understanding it at a very high level is extremely important. And I did that early on and very quickly. And I retain a lot of information quickly, and I think that's key, is soaking, being a sponge and
Mhm.
soaking up as much information as possible so you can retain it, and then utilizing that information and actually taking action with what you've learned. I think that's tremendous. And networking at a very high level, like I said, and we'll always say, this is a relationship type of business. So networking with the key individuals, the right individuals, to grow your portfolio.
Absolutely. Yeah. You know, you're obviously, you know, you're young. What do you do to like, you know, stay motivated, stay focused? What are some systems or methods you have in place that help you like stay on top of your game and especially at a young age, you know?
Yeah, I definitely appreciate that. My big thing is I meditate in the mornings and in the evenings. I love meditation, and I highly recommend it. Another thing, I hate to say this, but I'm just wired that way. I'm wired. For example, yesterday, Sunday, I had to drive down to Atlanta. Drove down to Atlanta, stayed Sunday night. I had conferences and meetings all day Monday, and I forgot my laptop. So I
Oh,
drove
wow.
back to Atlanta Monday night. I stayed back to Charlotte Monday night, stayed at my house. Tuesday morning, woke up at 3:30 to drive back to Atlanta to speak at a conference, to have some more meetings, and then I drove back Tuesday. And did not go to bed till around 11 o'clock last night. So I'm wired that way, where I'm self motivated and to get up and go.
Yeah, I mean, it's also good that you're self-aware too. Like, you know yourself, you know what you're good at, you know you're wired, and I think you're in the right industry. You're self-employed, and you're in an industry that I think that requires you to be almost wired and upbeat, right?
Yeah, very much so. Very much so.
Yeah, definitely. So back to the partners, what do you look for in partners? Like, if you were to choose your ideal partner, what do you look for in them?
Yeah, so we look for accredited investors who look to want to grow their wealth and to place capital into cash flowing assets that are very controlled, which is great,
Mhm.
and recession resistant type of properties, which that's what we focused on. And they're too busy to worry about, in getting into the nitty and gritty of it, where they want to have their money make money for them.
Mhm.
On their day to day, or their main business that is producing all the cash flow, where they can make money, or their money can make money for them while they're focusing on that. So very busy, high net worth individuals that we have that partner alongside of us, and we always look to expand that group. So more and more people can build wealth through multifamily and actually commercial real estate investing.
Yeah, absolutely. And back to infinite banking, that's something that you could do with infinite banking. You could leverage your life insurance policy, borrow against that, and then do deals with you as a limited partner. So you don't have to always just use your life policy just to be an active investor, but you can also use it to be a limited partner, a limited investor. So yeah, thanks for mentioning that. And it makes sense, right? If you're a dentist, a lawyer, a doctor, you're too busy with your day job, your W-2 job, or even if you're self-employed, you have your own company, you're too busy with that to go out and find deals. Like, I'm in Chicago, but let's say, for example, there's a good deal in South Carolina or North Carolina. I can go through you, partner with you on it while I'm in Chicago, right? Like, I don't have to go to, the
No, for
Carolinas
sure.
just to
Yeah.
meet them. Mhm.
Yeah, very much so. And it takes a lot to analyze these deals. It takes a lot during the due diligence process, the whole start to finish. And for someone to do that, I'm all for them gaining their knowledge and doing that. But it definitely, you can't just wake up and do it very quickly. So it's you got to get out there. You have to, partner with people who are experts and are in the space.
Absolutely. Yeah, definitely. I think it's all about the people, right? It's experts, it's about the people, not so much about the tools, the companies. It's all about the actual people you're going to be working with. That's probably the most important part
Very
of it.
much so.
Mhm. One of the things I like to do, Chris, on the shows is I like to ask the people about like books I like to read. So what are some books that you're reading right now, or you've read in the past that you'd like to share with us?
My main book is Think and Grow Rich. Love that book. Always highly recommend it. The other book I'm currently listening to is How to Win Friends and Influence People.
Mhm.
Yeah, and influence people. That's another great book. I highly recommend that book. There's another book called Influence, the psychological of persuasion.
Mhm.
Your next moves. I have a ton, but those are some of my big top books that I'm reading and analyzing right now at the moment.
Yeah, absolutely. I think every entrepreneur should read How to Win Friends and Influence People. That
Yeah.
one's probably the most important one. Yeah, Think and Grow Rich, obviously. Yeah, these
Yeah.
are the
This is my
foundation.
second time listening to that, the How to Win and Influence People. I think for me personally, I love reading books, but like
Yeah,
physical books, I always have to read a book around 2 to 3 times because I always catch something that I missed the first time,
yeah.
and I analyze it differently.
Oh yeah, yeah, of course. Yeah, I think when you read a book the first time, it's like you grab, like, I don't know, 10 or 15% of it, and then you read another time, it's like you get 20%, and
Oh
so
yeah,
on, and you grabbing, and then that like 5 or 10% extra that you're squeezing out of the book could make a huge difference, especially
very
like you
much
could
so.
learn something and then apply in business. And it was all just from reading the book a second time or a third time.
Yep, you're spot on with it. Spot
Yeah,
on.
yeah. So Chris, how can I appreciate you being on the show. I enjoyed our conversation. How can listeners connect with you and learn more about you?
Yeah, go directly to our website, qccapitalgroup.com. There's a little invest tab. You can click on that, fill out that information there, and then we'll be able to set up a 15-minute call, you and me personally, to see if we're a good fit and a good
Mhm.
partnership for each other. And that's how people can get a hold of me.
Okay, QCcapitalgroup.com. You're on LinkedIn too, right?
Yep, I'm on LinkedIn. I'm on Instagram, Facebook. I don't use my Twitter that much. I don't use TikTok. So just go to Chris Salerno, type that in. You'll definitely find me on Instagram and on Facebook. I do pour educational content out there So if you go to a closed Facebook group called the Mindful Multifamily Show, which is our podcast, we have the Mindful Multifamily Network, which is our closed Facebook group, which I'll add you to if you just go ahead and request to get in. And that's where you can really gain the knowledge of the group.
Okay, absolutely. I'll be sure to add in all these links in the show notes, so that way you can just click and connect with Chris. Chris,
Perfect.
Thank you so much for being with us today. I look forward to having you on the show, probably being back on your show and just staying connected with you. Thank you. To learn more about what we do and how we can help you grow more wealth, please visit www.finassetprotection.com. That's FIN assetprotection.com. The topics presented in this podcast are for general information only and not for the purposes of providing legal, accounting, or investment advice. On such matters, please consult a professional who knows your specific situation.